Hey there, friends. Pastor Dave here with another weekly devotion for all the saints. I'm going to start with a reading from Sarah Arthur's Coffee with God, and this is a devotion about prayer. God gave us the gift of communication, but sometimes writing or even typing is easier than speaking. That's why I found it helpful to keep a prayer journal over the years. A prayer journal is a unique medium that offers the opportunity to express private prayers in written form. Because the act of writing demands a high level of concentration, it can help us stay focused during more extended times of prayer. Using a journal also provides a means for recording insights and answers that we might hear from God. Too often we forget what God has taught us or the ways He has answered prayer. A journal helps us look back and recognize His grace at work in our lives and the lives of those for whom we've prayed. The history of written prayer goes back many thousands of years, even as far back as the court of King David, when psalms of request and praise were recorded for public use. In time, written prayers have also become part of the private devotional life of believers, often taking the form of journals or diaries. Today, a prayer journal might even take the form of a document typed and saved on your computer. The intent of a journal is to enhance your communication with God, both in your desire to speak to Him and to hear from Him. It can be as simple as making lists of joys and concerns, or as complex as a letter complete with full sentences and paragraphs. My husband types his up on a computer, while I usually write mine by hand in a spiral-bound notebook. For most people, whatever the medium, it can be an opportunity to document the journey of prayer through various stages. By recording questions, requests, events, quotes, scriptures, and experiences that impact one's faith, a person can look back at the ways God has given answers or brought insight through prayer. That's certainly been true for me. I'm amazed as I look back through my prayer journals at how God has been at work in my life. So, what about you? Well, saints, I will confess that I've never been much of a journaler in any sense. I've given it a shot once or twice in my younger years and just never really stuck with it. It's not been a habit that I have ever developed. But reading what Sarah wrote here, I am wondering if it's time to give it another try. It seems a very useful discipline. It's one of those patterns or practices that can help us not just focus, not just be able to do the thing that we want to do, like prayer. It can also help us get a better sense of who we've been, what we've prayed for, how we've prayed, and looking back over our written records, if we keep them, how God has answered prayer. I'm afraid that sometimes our prayers are very haphazard, that we pray for something on a given day at a given time because it pops into our head, and then it pops out, and we never really follow up. We never go back and think about how that prayer has impacted the person we prayed for, has impacted the situation we prayed for, or even impacted us in our understanding of whether something happened in response to that prayer. Have you ever kept a prayer journal or any kind of journal? Have you ever gone back and looked at what you wrote in the past and been surprised? As I said, I haven't often done this, but on the occasions when I have, it's really given me something to consider and to wrestle with as I look at what I wrote once upon a time and try to get back into the headspace of who I was back then and what was going on back then. It's a really interesting exercise. This happens with me with sermons sometimes, because I keep all of the sermons that I've ever written, and sometimes I read back through them and I think to myself, oh wow, I wrote that? Sometimes I think to myself, oh wow, I wrote that? It can be really interesting to give us a perspective on where we have been. So I wonder if that might be a practice that you'd like to try, keeping a prayer journal. And if you run into me this week, you can check with me whether I am giving that a try myself. That's your devotion for this week, saints. Hope it's helpful. We're thinking about. Hope you are doing well, staying healthy. I'll be praying for you. Please keep praying for me, and I'll see y'all again soon. Take care.